Elder Felix Astrim, the presiding elder of Mount Olives Worship Center, Odoko area, and Chief Executive Officer of FIDEMS Group, took home the prestigious 40 Under 40 Award, Consultants and Professional Services category, during this year's edition of the award ceremony held at Kempinski Gold Coast Hotel in Accra, October 2022.
Engineer Felix Astrim, Chief Executive of FIDEMS Group, was among the 70 awardees acknowledged by the chairman of the Church of Pentecost after winning the 40 Under 40 award. He is a certified professional engineer by the Ghana Institution of Engineering and has close to 2 decades of expertise in project management and civil engineering. He also doubles as the project director at FIDEMS, providing consultancy services to many reputable organizations, including the Jospon Group of Companies, Zoomlion Ghana Limited, Ministry of Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development. Others are HGL Farms, Glofet, Ghana Railway Development Authority, Local Government Service, the District Assemblies, and Pentecost University. He established FIDEMS mainly for the creation of employment and the means of training young professionals and has no regrets at all.
Okay, so FIDEMS Limited started as an engineering consultancy firm formed by siblings. We actually, when we were young, we always thought of building something to help people, either to build an orphanage or build churches or create employment for people. So that has been, when we were young, as far, I think I was in GSS when we discussed all those things as family. So like 6 people. And then we have one of my cousins staying with us, Isabella. So we just decided to form a company. And
you the siblings?
Yes, siblings. And so we were looking out for names. And then my sister, who is the other, just said, well, we are Ebers. We are from Volta region. So let's just use our Eber names and see what it comes out with. So the first is F, Fafa. That's my sister's name. E is Etonam, that's me. I'm the second. Then D is Jejom. He comes after me. E is Ejone. He comes after the Jejom. M is Mali. He comes after Ejone. And then S is Sichofe, official Sicho, who is our last born. And then my cousin is also Sefako. So it was FIDEMS. So the thing was to be FIDEMS with 2 S's. But we all agreed that, well, let's just use 1 S. So the name just came FIDEMS. And that was it. We decided to form a company. And when we formed it, because I am an engineer, we decided to use, I was doing a couple of individual consultancies, like just do something for someone. They use my name, they pay me. And so we decided to run it through the company. And then in 2016, my brother decided to resign from his firm and then run FIDEMS full-time. So we made him the MD, Charles. And then I also resigned. Then all my other siblings decided, okay, let's do this together. So everybody just went off, resigned from wherever, and we decided to come together and build it. So the FIDEMS group now, by God's grace, we have the engineering sector, which I run. I'm the CEO of the group, but now there's the FIDEMS Limited that does engineering consultancy. There's Energy Masters that does oil and gas. There's a small scale mining services. There's PSA IT Solutions, that's also into IT. There's Plimsoll into services. There's Promit into buildings and stuff. And there's Exquisite Impressions. There's Surface Street, there's Joe Roach, which is a construction company, and then there are a few others. Well, yeah, but I'm following my boss. My boss is just one, so I want to. I can't get to his level, but I want to just, he's a role model. So I just, yeah. But it's been God from day one. We don't do anything extraordinary.
Felix is an elder of the Church of Pentecost and a presiding elder for Mount Olivet Worship Center, Odoko.
So I've been a member of Church of Pentecost for 39 years. Yes. My parents are both Pentecostals, Church of Pentecost people. They started as evangelical Presbyterians, but then they were part of those who set up the Church of Pentecost in the Otumi district in the now Kade area. It was then Odan area, then became Asawan Kesi, and now Kede. Yeah. So I've been a Church of Pentecost member for all these years. The whole family was born into it. And then, so I'm an elder now, and then a presiding elder of Mount Olivet Worship Center. Yeah.
His ability to combine church work to his schedule is divine, and he shares with us what inspired him to become the presiding elder, a position he never thought time passed.
Oh well, it's been a good experience. Well, I never wanted to be a presiding elder because at the time I thought I was busy. But I thank Apostle James Tete. He was then my pastor in Mount Olivet Worship Center. It was started by Apostle Dr. Boete. It was an assembly in the Tetegu district. Tetegu Weja district. When they split it, then Prophet Ameniampon, the then area head, decided to make it a worship center. So I joined them in 2012. So I was the secretary. And then Apostle Tete, when he came, after a while, said he was going to make me the presiding elder. But I didn't want to do it because I thought I was busy. I didn't see why I should do that. And for me, if you are doing something for God, it's either you do it well or you don't do it at all. Yeah, so Apostle Tete told me, and he had said that the then presiding elder, Rajman Bedu, had also recommended that I should make me the presiding elder. But I didn't want to do it. I said, they will be taking too much of my time. But one of the days I went out with Dr. Sierra Japan, Zoom line. And then in one of our discussions, he looked at the time and he said, oh, Felix, I have to go now. Sorry. So presiding elder, so he left. So when I went back home, I thought of it. I said, but if this man can accept to be the presiding elder of a church, then why would I be saying that I can't be a presiding elder? Because I don't see anybody that can be busier than him. And so out of his busy schedules, if he's able to do all that, then there's no point in me saying I can't be a presiding elder. So I went back and I told Apostle Tete that, okay, I'll take it. And then I think that was 20, I can't remember the date, but before he left, that was when I became the presiding elder. And I think it's been a good journey. I mean, when you become the presiding elder, your responsibilities are more. So you become better. You become a better Christian, yeah, because now you are leading a group of people. You have to be speaking to them, so you have to change the way you talk to people. You have to change your attitude. You should have a bigger heart to contain certain things. Spiritually, you have to go another notch higher. So it comes together to make you a better person. So I've enjoyed it. I haven't regretted taking that. Yeah.
FIDEMS undertakes construction project and was the consultant to 3 Ghanaian companies: Construction Ambassadors Limited, Modern International Development, and Superior Royal, who constructed the recently commissioned ultra-modern residential complex for appeal court justices by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo in Kumasi, the Ashanti region. This was a project that was delivered within schedule. He won the 40 Under 40 Award, Consultancy and Professional Studies Award, and its impact has been felt.
Okay, so ahead of this 40 Under 40, I've seen adverts, I've seen them nominate people in there, but I'd never thought of doing anything like that. a couple of times people brought certain awards, and I said I wasn't interested. I didn't want to. But this time, Sophia Kujoji, who is the group chief communications officer of Jospon Group, and also a deaconess at I think Graceland, PRWC, called me and said, "Oh, my brother," she calls me my brother. "My brother, I'm nominating you for an award. You have to win this. You've been quiet for too long. We are possessing the nations." I was like, "Oh, which award is that?" She said, 40 under 40. I said, "Oh, Sophia, please, I don't want to do these things. So let's nominate you." So she actually contacted my staff, and they put together my profile. She asked me to send a profile. I didn't send anything. Because, to be honest, I don't have a profile. I've not written a profile myself. So she was like, she would put it together, they'll write a profile. So by the time I realized, I had received a text message that you've been nominated. So I called her, I said, Auntie Sophia, but this thing I'm not interested. "Oh, please, don't worry." Ooh. Then the whole thing started. So initially I thought, they said there were a lot of people, they were going to screen, and then, so I was hoping that when they shortlist, I'll be out, so that I won't. So I had even traveled out of the country, and I was getting calls that had been shortlisted, and they needed certain information. I wasn't providing it, and they kept calling. So my staff were putting the things together. So I think a week to the time, I got a call from one of them to ask me about the projects they had listed, and they were requesting me. They were requesting some information from me. They were asking me whether I was part of the team, or it was my firm that did it, or I was the one who led, because they thought for somebody who had not attained 40, the kind of projects we're talking about were not possible. Yeah. Then I realized, the thing was getting serious. So I said, well, I'll now have an interview with them. So I sent documents to show that it was my signature on the projects. I was the director in charge of it. It was my firm and all that. I had to show proof of those things. So I gave it to them. I was away. I came back. They asked a few questions, and then I left it there. So I wasn't going to attend the event. So my wife and I were talking about it. And my family, my siblings were saying, "Oh, this one, even if you don't win, we know that you are the best." So they kept encouraging me. And I was saying, "Well, why do I have to go for this award?" They said, "Oh, go. This one you win. The things God has done, you win." Then my daughter heard it. She's now 5 years. Then she was 4. So she asked me that, "Daddy, are you going to the award?" And I said, "Which award?" She said, "I heard Mommy talking on phone with Auntie that you are going for an award." And I said, "Oh, I don't know whether I'll win the award or not. It is now that you have nominated." She asked me what nomination meant. I explained to her. And then she was like, "Oh, Daddy, go, you win. And I want to go with you for the award." So I just said, "Oh, I don't want to go." He said, "Daddy, we have to go. I want to go with you." "Where is the award?" I said, "Kempisi, I want to go. I've not gone there before. I want to go." So I don't know whether I was the mother who told her to tell me, but I think she said it herself. So I just asked my wife, and my brothers said, "Okay, maybe we just have to attend." I had not received any call from anybody to tell me I was winning, or so we just decided to go, and I did it for her. I decided, okay, let's just go. When I read the category, I just said to myself, if it is fair, I'll win. Okay. Yeah, that's what I told myself, that if it is fair, I'll win. Because it's, there are things that you yourself, when you look at, it humbles you. You know that it's not by achievement. And when God does things for you, it can only win. If it's yourself, then you have that competition and all that. But when it's God that is doing it for you, it is not comparable. It's unmeasurable. So when it's God that has done it and it's a competition, it's automatic. You can't lose it. So I wasn't thinking about winning the award, but in my mind, I wasn't sure how it was going to be, because people are always saying when it comes to awards in Ghana, but I think Zedos, they are different. They didn't ask me for anything. They just asked their questions. Nobody called me to tell me you would win or lose or nothing. So I just went there, and I was just sitting there waiting. But I wasn't tensed. There was some level of anxiety, So when my name was mentioned, they screamed very loud. And I think there were a couple of people in the room who were also expecting me to win. I didn't know them, but maybe they had read the profile and stuff. So it was a general hype, And there's a video. Maybe I'll share it with you. And so if you watch the video, you realize that when they mentioned my name, my daughter just ran and I carried her. Because she actually is the reason I went for the awards. So when they mentioned my name, she was so excited. So I just carried her. And then I asked my wife to follow. God gave me a beautiful wife and a wife who doesn't worry. She doesn't disturb me. So I have my peace of mind.
When you say she doesn't worry?
On her dream. In any way. I've never argued with her before. She doesn't stress me. She doesn't stress. And if she's cool, my wife doesn't talk plenty. I mean, she's calm. She knows what to tell you and when to say it. And so when she's telling you the thing at that time, you can't get angry because she knows when to say it. There are some women, they don't know when to say what, even when the thing is right. Can't. And so I'll say that God has been kind to me and he's given me super friends. My brother came with me with a wife, and then some of our staff also joined us. So the feeling was good. Even for me, although I won't say I was confident. I was indifferent. But when my name was mentioned, the feeling was different. You know, certain times when the thing happens, then you are like, oh, so God, you are really doing this. Because it's not something that I opted to join. It's not something that I thought of. But it was just happened. Somebody nominates you, people do the profile for you, people send the things they require. You are not putting in any effort. And at the end of the day, you ask the few questions, you finish, and then you go there that day and you win the award. So I would say it's just by grace. Yeah. So it was a good feeling. I think when the award is genuine, it gives you a lot of credibility. 2 weeks ago, I was in Zambia to do some presentation for the FIDIC Africa. It's a consulting engineer, Federation of Consulting Engineers Worldwide. So we have our annual conferences. We have the African one, we have the global one. So I was presenting a paper at the African conference. Then I was probably one of the youngest people to do the presentation with the panel that I went with. And people didn't know me. So, of course, when they were introducing me, it was just normal. I mean, I didn't even write any profile, so it was just my name. And I did the presentation. After the presentation, people were wondering. And so, you know how internet is. People started going online to check, who is this guy, who is this guy? And then, most of it popped up, like 40 and 40, COP, Church of Pentecost, Annes, this, you know, there was a write-up from COP, and then a Chairman's Award. So, people started asking, you are a big guy. I was like, oh, I'm not. I'm just a simple guy. I said, no, you are. I'm asking them why. They're like, no, I've seen it. You won 40 under 40. It's all over the news, this profile. So sometimes these things give you some other level of credibility. If you go to meet someone, because maybe you are modest, people think that you can't do anything. In fact, Africans like people who can really talk and bluff. Yeah. But if you are not like that and you are calm, they think you can't do anything. So maybe when you give your name and then they go to do the background check and they see all these things, then they settle and they are comfortable. So the award has been helpful. I think it's giving me some other level of credibility. When the year started, my pastor, that was last year 2020, his sermon was that God was going to make us famous and popular. He said it. He said that Mount Olives, that's what God was going to do. So when the award thing was happening and all that, I was now thinking, oh, maybe this is one of the steps. The presiding that God wants to take you out there. I didn't want it. God wants to take you out there. God wants to take the church. And sometimes it's just an opportunity for the young guys also to learn from.
Under his leadership and guidance, the FIDEMS Group currently has 6 subsidiaries: Jorochi, Energy Masters, Plemsol, PSA IT Solutions, Math Mastery Consult, Safer Streets, and Exquisite Impressions. He's a team player and inspires his workers to climb to their maximum best.
So actually, FIDEMS, because my brother Felix and Tony, they were the engineers, or they are in the engineers, so they happen to do more of engineering works like that. Yeah, so when it comes to Felix, who is Etonam, he's an easygoing person, and he wants everybody to be, to be free. He wants everybody to have what he has. That's him. He's a very kind person. Whatever he has, he wants to give out. And I think that has been the upbringing that we got from our parents. So we are all like that. Anything we have, we want to share for people also to have a bit of what God has given us. Yes, and yeah, Felix is a very cool person. And of course, he's a no-nonsense person as well.
My name is Grace Editiapia, and I'm the Human Resource Officer for FEDEMS Limited. So working with my boss, I would say has been of great experience because he gives staff the opportunity to harness their potentials. So he has a very great human relationship with his staff. He gives us the opportunity to exhibit our potentials, our skills. And one thing I like about my boss is that when you go to him and you have a problem, he gives to the audience and also helps you execute whatever you want to do. So I would say working with him is really of great experience, and I would love to learn more from him.
My name is Engineer FEDEMS Limited, Head of Engineering. I would say working with my boss has had a great impact on my life. Working with a boss who has a great human relation skills has really helped improve my life significantly. When it comes to the managerial skills, he's created a working environment where everyone is inclusive, and then also created an environment where we are able to share ideas, be creative, and then innovative. I would say, working with him has really developed us interpersonally and then also satisfactory when it comes to the working environment.
As the project director at FEDEMS, providing consultancy to reputable organizations, including the Jospon Group of Companies, Zoomline Ghana Limited, the research engineer Felix Astrim tapped from Dr. Jospon Sian Ejapon as he aspires to reach the apex under God's guidance.
As for Jospon, when you say tapping, I've never stopped tapping. I'm always tapping. I don't see him as someone that you can learn too many things from, because he's someone that is blessed beyond the ordinary. So there are some things you copy from him, it won't work for you. Because he is spontaneous and his is direct from God. When he wants to do something, he does it, it works. So if you are not that type of person and you just want to do the things he's doing, it may not work for you. His things are not in the books. He's an extraordinary person. That's how I describe him. He encourages you and gives you the confidence that when you do it, it will work. In fact, he's one of the reasons I resigned fully to do FEDEMS, because then he was part of the group that gave me their first supervision contracts. When he started using me to do works for him, he would ask me to do something or vet a document for him. I'll do it for him. And then he would ask me how much I'll charge. Then I'll tell him, oh, I didn't have, it's okay. And he was always worried. So he told me, no, you are doing well. Set up a company. Employ people. Recruit them. And work. When you work, we'll pay you. Then you pay others. And these people will be dependent on you. And when they go on their knees and pray that God should bless them, God will bless them through you. So you become big. So when he said that, I said, okay, then let me set up the company. So I told my siblings that, well, we've set up the company. Now let's use it full time. So he has always been pushing. Don't do it alone. You can't be big alone. We can pay you. We can give you money, but that will not make you wealthy. That will not impact lives. Recruit people. Open up, get people to do the job. So that's what he kept doing, pushing me every time. And then when you are doing something and it's not right, he tells you. He has a way of telling you that I think you should look at this, in a brotherly way. He's a big man, but he relates like we are equals. And that is where he changed our lives. For me, his humility also, naturally, because of my background, we are modest people and humble. But he also taught us another level of humility. Yeah, so I've learned that from him. When it comes to business, he's the one I look at. And when it comes to human relations, additionally, he's a giver. Yeah, he's a giver and he has time for God. So I decided to just follow. Sometimes he always says things that there are things that are already in the books. You don't have to reinvent it. So if you have seen somebody like Jospon and he's prospering and you know the things he does and he's prospering, why do you reinvent? You just do same. Yeah, so that's how Just Born has been. And for God, he's been everything.
Here is a piece of advice from the 2022 winner of the 40 Under 40 award and one of the 70 people specially recognized by the Church of Pentecost for excelling in his sphere in the society.
Okay, so for the youth, I would say that God has a plan for everybody. God has a purpose for each one. And so we don't have to be cheap copies of other people. I've always been saying it, that you are an original of yourself. And so ask God why he brought you and why he's keeping you alive still. Unless he has something for you to do, he won't keep you alive. So it's like you buy a new car and there's a manual. The only way you can service the car is to use the manual and the way they have described you to service it. So it's God that made us. If you want to know how you should run, go back to God at every time. Don't listen to too many people trying to tell you to do A, B, C, D, create. No. Ask God. There are some motivational speeches that when they come, they are not for you. They are for a certain group. So ask God what he wants. If God tells you this is what he wants, then go by it. And be patient. Be patient. It's gradual. God will give you the grace as you go up. And then when the time comes for you to put you somewhere, he will put you there. There's no rush in life. There's no competition in life. Everything is in the hands of God. That's all I can tell you.